Hey everyone, long time no see. It's okay though, because I've just literally been like in the moment, just living life. Like sometimes you like recognize that you're a human being and you need to just like take all the things that you've learned and dive into the experience, all the 3D, everything mixing together all into one big pot, and then take all these skills that you've learned and just run with them. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Like it's weird. It's like that oscillation that I've talked about in the past. It's like you get into these deep spaces where you're just consuming information, or just like deep into the kind of like spiritual side of things. The When you get those intuitive hits to just like consume information about a specific topic, about health or something, because it's gonna like, that's what you need right now in this moment to like boost you in that direction. Like that's totally what the energies are. And that's what I've been up to, really. And just following my heart, and you know only coming forward, and sharing when I feel pulled to, when I feel like there's a message that needs to be shared. But even right now, like I came on here just to rant, just to you know be in this energy with you guys, and not with anything specific to say, but just to share the energy with you, and to have a conversation about like what's happening right now. Like, what, there's a lot of people that are like in that stubborn phase where they're just like unable to make those changes that are going to put them in a space of the calm in the storm. And that can relate to like even how you're handling maybe family members or friends or people that you care about, making decisions that don't necessarily align with the same belief systems that you have. And so like when you're in that resistance, you can't really be the peace through all the chaos. You're playing in those energies. So if you play in those energies and you let it bother you, and you feel like you have to like force feed people information in order to save them, that's not how this works. The only person that can save anyone is their own self. And we're here for that expansion, but it's very individual. Yes, we're here to wake up the collective, but in the same breath, you have to understand the way that's going to happen has nothing to do with control or force or anything like that. It has everything to do with you working on yourself, like every single day, just being in every moment, just being conscious of, or just being in that moment, but at the same time being conscious of who you are being in that moment. So if you see something and you say, is that divine? Is the way I perceive that divine? Like you start looking at things from so many different perspectives, that then you're able to really get to know who you truly are, because you've seen it from many different angles. You've opened yourself up to allow a different perspective in, and you don't have this huge wall up, and you're not closed off based off of your programming saying like, I believe this and this is what I believe, and you can tell me anything that you want to tell me, but this is what I believe because this is my comfort zone. Really, a lot of people are stuck where they're at because they're afraid to get out of their comfort zone, but they're beginning to realize that it's not very comfortable of a zone anymore. So a lot of people are changing and waking up to it. It's like, what am I even defending at this point? But there's still a lot of people that are just, you know, anything that's handed to them, any information on mainstream media and all that kind of stuff, they just take it for what, like, my intuition is telling me that there's something not quite right here, but everybody else is doing it. My neighbor did it, my mom did it, my pastor did it, whatever. And this is definitely not even when it comes to the whole jab thing. This and the mask and everything, it's like not political. It's like literally, I come from a very rural area of Pennsylvania, and my family has always voted conservatively and stuff. Not one side of my family has, so I'm speaking from that aspect. I was actually the complete opposite of that until I had my awakening and I became aware of what was really happening. And there is no side that's correct. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is like, just because somebody was like pro-Trump or something doesn't mean they're not going to get vaccinated. I'm sitting here witnessing like my entire one side of my family who is all pro-Trump by default, because that's what conservative Christians do. They vote Republican. Like, it's very much programming. And they're all getting the jab. My grandma, my mom, like freaking everybody. And so what have I had to do? I've had to stay in this calm space, this peace, knowing that there's a huge possibility that there are serious repercussions to that, and not to be attached to the physical of who they are, and understand that they're just this infinite being in that body, and that, you know, if this, according to their plan, if this is the best thing for them to just hit the reset button and go reincarnate again, like, then that's what it is. And I have to be at peace with that. And I have to really take a higher perspective. Like, it was so funny. I talked to my grandma for like 45. I've been talking to my grandma on the phone a lot lately. So there's something to that too. I really get an interesting perspective when I talk to her. But, I mentioned reincarnation. She's very religious. She was like, oh yeah, my sister believed she was going to come back as a bird or something. I was like, I said to her, I was like, I think that you would probably come back as something a little more cognitively advanced. Like, you were probably a bird. You know what I mean? Like, I just tried to like bring it down to some type of reason for her, but she was really like, the wall was up. Like, there was no grasping the information. But anyways, I like to play, like, in conversation, I like to like play with little things. Like, I'll say something, but I'll say it with the energy of like, what if, but no pressure, but like, you know what I mean? Like the what if this, even if it's something I truly believe is true, I'll say, well, what if this, or what if that, you know? And it's just like planting seeds in a playful way, and being conscious of the energy you're giving them when you're having the conversation. So if it's like defensive energy, which is what most of us want to be in, because we're in this fear that we're gonna like lose our family member, or somebody's not gonna wake up, or they're not gonna become aware of this knowledge. If you just know this knowledge, like, your life could change. Like, that's how we feel. We want to like approach people. But really, we just have to stay in our high vibrational energy, and that joy, and that happiness, in that peace, and that calm of the storm, and share that with them when we're with them, and not be attached to their decisions on whether we feel comfortable about like being in their presence or thinking about them. Because every time we think about them, we just think about how they made this decision that we don't resonate with. So yeah, like, really, like, coming from a space of understanding everyone's on a journey, and that journey is so unique to each individual soul signature that keeps coming. Like, just think how unique they are, like anybody is, when they have experienced, like, who knows how many lifetimes and different perspectives from different dimensions and everything else. Like, you had an experience as a tree. Like, who knows how long you were standing there, and you just got to experience that stillness. And then you come into this space where you become this advanced being, and then you forget everything, and you have to somehow remember everything and recognize that you're a part of it all, and see yourself in other people, and just see the universe and everything. Like, it's baby steps. Think about the dense programming, and then getting to the point where you're at right now. This is not something that everybody's just gonna have a huge, like, it would blow my mind if, like, the big thing that happens in terms of the awakening is like a bunch of people just had a Kundalini awakening because the energies were that powerful. But I feel like if that happened, most people are in such dense frequencies right now, their physical body wouldn't be able to handle Kundalini. Like, I'm talking like the energy can be, I don't even want to say that, but it's like, that's what's coming to my head right now. The energy could be like fatal for somebody who couldn't handle it, because there's a lot of the physical that comes out. So for me, I've had tastes of Kundalini energy. But to have a full blown, like, you will know. And I don't feel like I've had like a full blown, like I felt that warm water come up my spine and then literally, I don't think I've had it. I'll just say that. I've had a small, I was activated by when I met my twin flame. When I started playing in twin flame energy is when I was totally activated and I started feeling Kundalini energy in my body, but not actually being fully activated. It was like little bursts of it. And you can tell, like, I've heard so many people, like, not so many people, because there's not that many people who've had full-blown Kundalini awakenings. A lot of people think they have, but I don't believe that. Like, I feel like it's, like, for certain people at certain times on their journey and for certain reasons, and it will come in at such a divine time because there's certain thing is happening in your life, and if you get a blast of that energy at this time, it will help you for this reason, for your mission on this path. Like, it's so intricate and complex. It's not about going to yoga to try to prematurely activate your Kundalini. That's stupid. To me, that's stupid. It's great to work your body out, and so you're, allowing energy to flow through your body in a more easy way in order to unblock your chakras so that energy can flow through you in a free way. Yeah, it's beautiful to be helpful, to use something like that to be helpful, or to even look up information on, like, because all it's doing is bringing you closer to it, but at the end of the day, it's not going to happen until it's supposed to happen, period. And that's with anything. Like, if you're waiting for your new gifts to come online, like, your gifts are going to come no matter how much work you try to do. And the more you try to work and think that spiritual work is going to get you there, it has nothing to do with that. It's you being in the most connected, highest space as you can, and finding that in every single moment. Finding that when you're cleaning your dishes and your laundry and you're doing the monotonous things that you have to do in life because you're a dense human being and you have to take care of yourself. You're not some, like, being right now. I mean, you are in a sense because every lifetime's happening simultaneously, but you're not, like, not in a body, or, like, how some higher beings, they don't have to eat, they don't have to take care. You're in a dense body, you have to take care of yourself. So how are you going to stay connected in through all of it? How are you going to master this human experience and stay connected in order to make that what seems like, because we're in linear time and everything seems slowed down when really it's just all happening at the same time, but make that gradual expansion and evolution. It seems gradual, but it's really not gradual. But we have to kind of bring it down into human understanding. Otherwise, it's just like, I don't want to say that. Like, we have to accept the fact that we're in this experience, but be able to also accept the fact we're in these other experiences at the same time. And to get to that place is, seemingly, from this perspective, a gradual thing. And we can see that. It's a gradual thing, facing your shadow, integrating that information, facing your shadow, integrating that information, understanding that every relationship, your children, your partner, your parents, everything is there intentionally in order to help you grow. Understanding this is all a big game for expansion. But at the same time, being able to maintain high vibrations, because you take this experience and you just milk it. And you see how much love and joy and happiness you can milk out of that. But you can't milk all that love, joy, and happiness till you figure out who you really are. You figure out how to stay connected, and you deprogram yourself from all the bullshit that is inverted in this world that we live in. We have to reverse everything. We have to be able to accept that basically all the program and all that, your whole life is a lie in a sense. Because you don't even know how the world works to begin with. We're not taught that. But anyways, like, that's just what came through. I did not know what I was going to come on here and talk about. I definitely did not think it was, like, controversial subjects. But I think that's where a lot of people are there right now, because it just, like, the jab and everything, it just feels so heavy. And, I haven't been following a lot of the mainstream stuff or the political stuff. Like, I've been very disconnected from that. I glance, I'll scroll through my Instagram every once in a while, and I saw like there's another, incident and court case that has to do with police brutality and all that. And it's just like, pay attention. They choose what they want to show everybody. There's a lot of crazy, horrible things happening, and they choose not to put that on the news for everyone to get outraged about. Why did they choose this? I definitely did not think I was going to talk about this either, but think about those things. Why did they choose this? It's so hard because we care. We freaking care. But they, the narcissistic elite emotionally manipulate the public. It's a narcissistic relationship. The media and the powers that be have freaking over the people. It's very, I don't even want to go in deep to the topic, because I was going to go into like, you could tell people who are the most programmed. The most programmed people a lot of times are the ones who think they have it all together. The narcissists of society, the ones that keep up with the Joneses, the ones that are very materialistic, like all that stuff is like, that's the worst, that's the deepest programming. That's the deepest programming from my perspective. I was actually very blessed in the sense that when I was 3 months old is when my parents divorced. And like, my dad had a rough life. Both my parents have been married many times. And before my dad got his life together, then he had me. So I've never seen the rough side of my dad. My dad was in jail for years. He went through getting over drug addiction, alcoholism, and all that kind of stuff. And he always had his life together. So I saw this very strict perspective because he fought for custody for me and my brother. He went through like 4 attorneys just to get custody of us because we were with my mom, who still didn't have her life together at that time. Now she does. She freaking redeemed herself and runs a nonprofit for children who need help, But anyways, I got to see, but before that, I got to live with my mom. I got to feel what poverty feels like. I got to feel what just, I lived in complete filth as a child until I was from the time I was 3 months old till I was like 8 years old. I lived in like poverty, in a situation that wasn't good. I was around drug addicts all day. And I was like, basically it was like me and my brother fend for ourselves while my mom's like strung out, And my mom totally redeemed herself. So like, when I talk about my childhood, like, I no way bashed my parents for anything. I freaking love them. They both came around. They both are recovered. They both came back strong. And I think that's why, I went through a lot, but I came back so strong too, because they gave that to me. And it's like, they're strong in so different ways. To think my parents were ever freaking even married or had children is the weirdest thing, because they're like polar opposites in every aspect of everything. It's crazy. But the point I'm trying to make is I had so many different perspectives that like, now when I come and I see programming, because I've been able to see life in so many different ways. I've been around, rich people that wasn't in my family, but from a previous marriage. Like, I've been around people who have things. I've been around I've always dated black men, which is an interesting topic altogether. Maybe I'll talk about that one day. I have different theories about it. Maybe because I knew that my twin in this life was black, or I don't know. It's this weird thing, because I'm like a white girl from a rural area. It just like doesn't make sense, but it does when I look at it from a different perspectives. Like, I have a preference because I have a mission type of thing, and it has nothing to do with like the race as a whole. It has to do with my own personal mission, and that was somebody I needed to meet in order to complete that with them as well. I don't know. It's very interesting. I was getting into something, and I got off on that topic, and now I can't even remember exactly what it was I was talking about. But it had to do with different perspectives. Like, I've been around so many different cultures. I've been around, like, I was the white trailer trash when I lived with my mom. I lived in so many different trailer parks, and I'll never forget this. I told, like, I had lice so many times when I was a kid that I had, like, my hair cut short. And that's why I'm, like, really, like, my hair, like, is really interesting to me. One time I had a friend say to me, he said, this was a while ago, when I first started waking up, he said, don't you think if you cut all your hair off, it would be, like, this spiritual thing for you, like, to detach, just cut all your hair off? Because I, went through all these things, and I was just like, that's an interesting thing, but I still am not cutting my hair off. But does that mean I'm attached to my hair? Like, I love to ask myself these questions and challenge my mind in those ways. But that's why, like, you won't ever see me, like, dye my hair. I don't even, like, go get it cut or anything. I just, like, I'll sit in the sun, and my hair kind of, like, is bright in the sun. So I'll sit, and I'll be able to see all the little split ends, and I'll sit with the scissors and just cut my slits, but I don't get my hair cut anymore. But it's just, like, weird stuff. Like, notice things about yourself. Notice, like, I wonder why I do this, or I wonder why I, like, even want to wear clothes like this, or want to, oops, I shouldn't mess with the microphone. Sorry, guys. Little things like that. Start noticing things about yourself. Like, I don't even know how I got to the point in this conversation where I'm at right now. I was just talking about super programmed people and how I've seen life from different perspectives, and I'm, like, able to see where the programming lies in different, areas of society. So, yeah, it's, like, interesting. Like, to me, I just wanted to bring that up. The most programmed people are the people that are most stuck in their ways and think they know everything and are just closed off and not open. And they're saying, I will only accept information from, a professor at a university, but they never even take into consideration that maybe the information that they're feeding people who go into the medical field, people who are professors at universities, maybe a lot of this information is bias. Maybe this information isn't all true. Maybe there's, like, miles of information that they've uncovered underneath the Vatican that they've suppressed from us, and they just put out the little, like, 1% of fact that they want to put out, and then twist the narrative to, like, be what they want it to be. And that's the people that you choose to trust with your information. Like, or like, what studies have been done on the jab? Like, what? You are the study. You are the study. There have been no studies done. They did it on animals, and then they stopped because it was going so poorly that they were just like, oh, we're just going to push it out and see what happens. Like, what? You are the study. And that's why it's, like, frustrating. People want to ask you about, oh, what's your source? Like, I just saw a meme about this, and I posted it on my Instagram. But it's like, what's your source? When you start talking about a subject that we've literally, like, if you're awake now, then you've been doing, like, over a decade worth of research at this point to just, like, know what's going on in the world. And then somebody wants to be like, what's your source? As if there's, like, a government source that's gonna, like, put things in bullet points. This is what this meme said. In summary, put things in bullet points for your simple freaking mind to, like, understand. Like, how do you go inject yourself with an experimental drug and, like, don't want to know anything about it? You just know that other people took it, so it must be good. Sorry, I have to go out on a rant on this because it just makes no sense. Like, how at this point, like, we've been in this a year, we're a year deep, and you still have, in your whole, everybody's lives have changed, and you still don't have, like, the, like, desire at all to question anything or to go do independent research. What? Like, and I know, like, I started this video with just, like, being at peace with it. But at the same time, you have that righteous anger, and you're allotted to that opinion. You're allotted to, like, feeling the way you feel. But don't do this to them. But it feels good to share it with you guys because, like, it lets you know that other people feel the same way. Like, you guys aren't alone. I'm going to sit here and show you how I feel about it, too. I'm not going to act holier than thou. Like, oh, like, just be the peace and the calm in the storm. Like, share the good energy with them. Don't share this feisty energy with them because they just get defensive and closed off. But in the same respect, you have to have this fire or this world is not going to change. That's how the world changes. You get righteously angry and say, no, this is wrong, and we're going to stand up and say something about it. But in the same respect, like, let people be on their journey. Like, how can we serve in a way that's like letting people be on their journey, but still being in the calm in the storm, but still changing this freaking world? And it's by being the example. Like, for me, it's going to buy land. It's homeschooling my kids. It's doing things differently. It's looking at life differently. It's being less dependent on the system. That's how you can change the world. It's through your own light. It's showing people how to do it. And then eventually we gravitate toward each other because we're a vibrational match to each other, and we create communities. We create these spaces where people don't have to worry. There's nothing that you should have to worry about, because we could work together and we could create our own homes and our own food and our own ways of educating our children. And they'll be able to interact with kids that are of all different ages and not be in this system that we've had since freaking ever that doesn't work. This education system, it doesn't work. I got my, when I got my master's in secondary ed, I took this course on assessment, and I was just debating the teacher the whole time, because I was just like, there's so many negative aspects to assessing students. So many. And I could go off on a whole list, but I don't even want to go on that tangent. The point of the matter is we have to be the light. We have to be the ones who show the rest of the world how to do it, because they don't know how to do it, because they're programmed. And they keep asking people who want them enslaved how to do it. What to drink, what to eat. Or just, they'll get, don't worry, you don't even have to ask them. They'll tell you what to do. That's what they want. They want you to tell them, or they want you to ask them what to do. They want you to passively accept bullshit and slavery and waking up at 9 o'clock every morning. That's why they train you to do it in school. Less than 9 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to get to school. For what? To train you so you can go get a job that's 9 to 5 and be dependent. We have to be independent. That is the next step. You want to change the world, become independent, grow for yourself. And you won't be able to come independent unless you get that spiritual growth somewhere inside of you, because you'll be too scared. So you have to do the work. You have to do the spiritual work. You have to see where you're programmed, want to make changes. You have to see where you don't treat people right in your life. Make those changes. You have to see all of it. It all comes together. And once you do that, you'll be divinely inspired to be independent. You'll be divinely inspired to do things that serve your highest good. And it's funny how we'll all come together. Everybody around you will feel that. Everybody around you will get a taste of that energy. Everybody around you will be able to share that with you. But you have to be willing to not know what's next. You have to be willing to like let go of the programming. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to leave that relationship that doesn't serve you. You have to be willing to say goodbye to things that make you feel comfortable. Because guess what? As you're probably figuring out, they don't make you feel that comfortable anymore. It doesn't feel comfortable to be unhappy. Only you know what you need to do for yourself. Don't go seek somebody else's advice about your relationship. Dig deep. Figure out who you really are and say, is this what I want? You don't have to go seek somebody's advice about a job, leaving a job. You don't have to seek somebody's advice about changing your health. You don't need to seek anyone's advice. You need to dig deep, figure out what you truly want, sit and look at what you're doing, what your habits are. Change. Like a simple thing you could do is literally eat breakfast on a different side of the table. Sleep on the opposite side of the bed as your partner. Do little things different. And it'll feel weird because you're in such a habit of doing that. It'll feel weird. But it gets you out of little baby steps. Get out of your comfort zone, little bit by little bit. If you have a routine of doing something at the same time every day, change the time. If that thing doesn't serve your highest good, don't do it. Do something else that serves your highest good in place of that time. Like, there's so many little things you can do first. And then you'll start diving into the big things. You just have to somehow get unstuck. And I know that most people that are watching my videos, they have already got to that point. But in the same respect, we all have places where we're still stuck. So it's never too much to refresh yourself on the fact that the programming is so deep. We were born into it. We were getting programmed while we were in our mother's womb. energetically, sharing energy with that, with our mother. So understand that there is no point in this incarnation where you don't have any programming. Like, you'll transcend that, and then you won't even be in this body anymore. So at this point, you have to recognize, I'm a human, I have programming, I grew up in a very programmed world, and I'm gonna little by little work my way out of it and create a happy, beautiful life for myself and everything I come in contact with. It's as simple as that, and as complicated. Everything's a damn paradox. All you gotta do is dig deep and take it one step at a time. Be in one moment at a time. Who cares about the future? Appreciate what you have right now. If you're in a crappy relationship, choose happiness anyways. Treat that person with so much love and respect, knowing that, hey, I'm probably not going to end up with this person, but guess what? I can still practice being this amazing person for whoever spirit has out there for me, whoever the universe has out there for me. Hey, I don't like this job I'm at right now, but I'm going to practice being happy here anyways, figuring out how to make this moment amazing anyways. Hey, I don't like where I'm living right now, but I'm going to like spruce up the house and maybe move some furniture around, switch the energy up, light some candles, hang up some cute little lights or something that will set the mood and change the energy. Shift your life. I'm going to brush my teeth on the other, in a different bathroom today, in the downstairs bathroom today, just to do something different and get out of my comfort zone. You got to start making these little incremental changes, and you will shift your whole life around. I love you guys so, so much.